Greetings to all of you, my dear subscribers. Today I have a very special video for you where I, Dylan Theory, have compiled all my latest videos in one place. Before I start, I would like to suggest you to subscribe to my channel and put a like under this video. Thank you for your support, and here we go. Greetings, dear viewers. We're here with Dylan Theory, and today we have a fascinating topic on our agenda: the Smiling Critters theory and the mysterious fate of Dog Day. Let's dive into the world of mysteries and clues together to figure out how the Smiling Critters were able to completely take over Dog Day and turn it into a... Well, first things first. Have you ever pondered how the Smiling Critters managed to fully influence Dog Day and turn him against us? Well, I've formulated a couple of theories regarding this phenomenon, with one appearing to be the most plausible. But before delving into that, let's first unravel how Dog Day ended up in this predicament. In the scene featuring Dog Day, he mentioned being the last remaining member of the Smiling Critters. Yet he was inexplicably alive, but restrained, with his legs gruesomely absent. As for the fate of the other members of the Smiling Critters, I speculate that Catnap swiftly dispatched them upon realizing they weren't under the control of the prototype. As mentioned by Ollie in one scene, Catnap perceives the prototype as a superhero, treating him with godlike reverence and eliminating anyone who opposes him. However, it appears that the prototype's influence doesn't affect everyone as intended, necessitating alternative methods for specific toys. Unfortunately, Dog Day seems to have fallen victim to these alternative measures. Dog Day miraculously remained alive when Catnap discovered us after the train crash. It appears that Catnap then proceeded to remove Dog Day's legs and prepare him for the sinister transformation. This transformation seems to involve either an already converted toy or a collective mass of them affecting Dog Day internally in some manner. This method may represent one of the ways the prototype's control can be imposed on others, as it's improbable that every toy underwent the same process. In my first theory, I propose that the Smiling Critters merged within Dog Day to create a singular entity capable of fully controlling him. In the scene where they enter him, it seems there are too many of them to individually occupy space. Most enter through the lower half, while one even enters through his eyes. Observing Dog Day's movements post-transformation, they appear deliberate, not random, suggesting he is not controlled by multiple entities simultaneously, akin to a puppet manipulated by numerous strings. This coherence likely stems from the collective consciousness of the Smiling Critters merging within him. After taking possession of Dog Day, you'll notice a significant change in his appearance. His eye sockets, once entirely black, suddenly exhibit white pupils. Interestingly, there are no visible Smiling Critters protruding from him. Presumably many merged inside, making it impossible for individual entities to be discerned. However, this theory seems unlikely, because if the Smiling Critters had merged within him, Dog Day's consciousness would have remained intact, allowing him to communicate with us during the chase. Moreover, his voice undergoes a noticeable alteration post-transformation, evident in his jump scare sounds. As for my second theory, I propose that the Smiling Critters consume Dog Day's insides to inhabit his body. This hypothesis is supported by Dog Day's explanation before his transformation, where he hinted at the possibility of such an occurrence. The Smiling Critters are depicted as hungry entities with empty stomachs, expressing their desire to infiltrate beneath our skin and consume us gradually, filling the void within themselves. Their gaze, symbolized by countless pairs of eyes, eagerly awaits the opportunity to fulfill this voracious urge. Upon their arrival, Dog Day's agonized cries likely signify the commencement of this consumption, as they consume him bit by bit until he becomes an empty vessel, allowing them to seize control of his body entirely. The disturbing sounds emanating from Dog Day, such as choking and gargling, suggest that they have devoured his vocal cords, rendering his speech incomprehensible. This prompts the question, why would the Smiling Critters engage in such grotesque behavior, targeting not only Dog Day, but anyone not under the prototype's control? The answer may lie in their insatiable hunger and the desire to assert dominance over those they consume. Before his possession, Dog Day suggests that the Smiling Critters' behavior stems from a deep-seated fear of the prototype's wrath, as he is known to eliminate anyone who defies his doctrine or resists his control. Consequently, they align themselves with Catnap, who, like them, serves under the prototype. In return for their obedience, They are provided with dissenting toys and staff members as sustenance, avoiding the fate of being deemed heretics by the prototype, which often results in execution. This allegiance to catnap as a means of survival is reinforced by the Hour of Joy, a pivotal event in the narrative. Upon reaching the chapter's conclusion, Poppy enlightens us about the Hour of Joy, presenting a tape depicting the moment when experimented toys gained sentience and systematically eliminated all staff members, sparing only us. Notably, Poppy reveals that the toys proceeded to consume the fallen staff, further illustrating their allegiance to the prototype's regime and their willingness to consume those deemed heretical. It appears that the smiling critters continued this pattern of behavior, driven by a persistent emptiness they felt after undergoing experimentation. Their solution to this void was to engage in acts of violence and consumption against anything non-toy. However, this cycle of death failed to provide any lasting fulfillment. Subsequently, they disposed of the bodies below, consuming them to sustain themselves, eventually targeting anything outside of the prototype's control. In my final theory, I propose that the smiling critters overwhelmed Dog Day's mind with their malevolence, akin to the darkness present in Catnap and the prototype. Upon possessing Dog Day, they exerted full dominance over him, leaving no indication of resistance. He became a mere instrument of their will, fixated solely on hunting and eliminating us. However, it's possible he retained a fragment of his former self during the pursuit, evident in his continued mobility despite his compromised state. It appears that Dog Day's movements didn't exhibit the typical puppet-like quality. Rather, his actions and intentions seem to have been overridden by the influence of the smiling critters. His behavior shifts abruptly from resistance to single-minded pursuit, indicating a complete takeover of his consciousness, fixated solely on our destruction. This phenomenon also harkens back to the events of the Hour of Joy, as described by Poppy, where a senseless outbreak of violence occurred among the toys, suggesting a transferable malevolence. Earlier, I suggested that Dog Day may not have been entirely devoid of consciousness during the pursuit. However, immediately following the chase, as we escape using a jump pad, we hear what sounds like Dog Day's screams in the background. These screams, though, bear a distorted quality, more akin to a twisted manifestation or anguished cry from the smiling critters themselves. The transition from Dog Day being an ally to becoming a mindless murderer suggests a transferable malevolence, reminiscent of the events during the Hour of Joy. As I mentioned earlier, I suspect that Dog Day wasn't entirely devoid of consciousness during the chase scene. Following our escape via the jump pad, we hear what appears to be Dog Day's screams in the background. However, these screams don't resemble his usual vocalizations. Instead, they seem to emanate from a distorted and agonized state, possibly originating from the smiling critters. This could signify several things. Firstly, it might indicate the smiling critters' frustration at our escape, knowing that the prototype may punish them for failing to capture us, akin to what happened to Catnap. Alternatively, it could be the culmination of Dog Day's transformation, though this seems improbable given his prior conversion. Ultimately, it remains unclear, but these screams hint at deeper layers of manipulation and consequence within the narrative. That's all I had for today. Thanks so much for watching, friends. I was Dylan Theory, and today we discussed the theory behind smiling critters and Dog Day. I hope you enjoyed the video and found it interesting. If so, don't forget to give it a like and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss new videos. Also, feel free to leave your thoughts and guesses in the comments below. I wish everyone the best of luck and see you soon. All the best. Hi friends, it's Dylan Theory with you. And today I want to share with you an interesting theory about the world of the game. Let's talk about Ollie possibly being prototype. Could Ollie be the prototype? Throughout our time in Playcare, Ollie has guided us in our mission to thwart Catnap and the prototype. He has provided us with keys to various buildings, possesses knowledge about the locations of generators and toys, and is familiar with Catnap's transformation into the monster he is today, including details about the shrine created for the prototype in a secluded cave. Despite Ollie's integral role, we have never laid eyes on him. What's more, Ollie has never explicitly identified himself as an orphan of Playtime Co., or even as a child, leaving us to discern his identity solely through his voice. However, certain aspects of his voice raise suspicions. With so much mystery surrounding Ollie, could he harbor sinister intentions, or worse, Could he be the prototype in disguise? Before jumping to conclusions about Ollie's allegiance or true nature, it's essential to address several lingering questions that undoubtedly weigh on everyone's minds. Consider this. How does Ollie possess such extensive knowledge about Playcare? Ollie's voice implies that he's just a child, suggesting the possibility that he was once an orphan within Playcare. However, there's a significant discrepancy in the timeline. We returned to Playtime Co. in 2005 and left 10 years prior, in 1995. While Ollie's exact age remains unknown, if we assume he's an orphan, we must consider the ages of other orphans, particularly their dates of birth. The only known date of birth among the orphans is Theodore Granos, born in 1983, making him 12 years old when he became catnap. It's improbable that Playtime Co. would experiment with a child younger than 12, and even if they did, they would sound significantly older than Ollie 10 years later. Perhaps Ollie was merely 2 or 3 years old during the hour of joy, managing to survive until our return, making him 12 to 13 years old. However, this scenario seems highly unlikely, bordering on impossible. There's no feasible way Ollie could have attained such extensive knowledge at such a young age. Having made it this far alone, Ollie has acquired an extensive understanding of Playcare over time. Considering that all the experiments were likely deprived of nourishment during this period, it's plausible that Ollie experienced the same. To comprehend how Ollie possesses such profound knowledge about Playcare, we might need to discard the notion that he's merely a child. It's conceivable that we should even entertain the idea that Ollie may not be human. This brings me to my second question, which you might have pondered while interacting with Ollie. Why does he speak in such an unusual manner? Upon analyzing almost every dialogue Ollie delivers, one notices an unnatural upward inflection in his voice, resembling someone attempting to mimic a child's speech, albeit poorly. Additionally, his choice of words is rather peculiar. For instance, consider this excerpt. It seems like Poppy explained everything now, and she turned on the dome's backup power. You should be able to find a big power cord somewhere around the porch. Grab it and plug it in. Beneath the statue, have you noticed the shrine? If you found that unsettling, brace yourself for the real sight. Hold on, let's backtrack a moment. Ollie's comment about seeing the real thing implies he has glimpsed the prototype. How did he manage that? We'll address this shortly. Despite the ominous atmosphere, Ollie's enthusiasm remains oddly high. Unlike Poppy, who exhibits caution in her speech, Ollie lacks that restraint. But let's shift our focus from how Ollie speaks to when he speaks. Typically, Ollie initiates conversations when you're at the center of Playcare, a pattern that persists. However, in the beginning of Chapter 3, Ollie engages with us shortly after the train crash and later guides us through the gas production zone in Home Sweet Home. Over the phone, we receive a warning to run, only to glimpse Catnap swiftly concealing himself in the shadows behind us. However, I'm inclined to believe this was part of the hallucination induced by inhaling the red smoke. What strengthens this belief is the fact that we never actually flee, and thereafter, we never directly encounter Catnap. Instead, we confront a nightmarish hallucination of Huggy Wuggy. Furthermore, upon awakening, we find ourselves still within Home Sweet Home, suggesting that if Catnap were truly present, he would have harmed us while we were unconscious. Hence, it's highly probable that Ollie's warning was fabricated. Although I won't consider this instance as Ollie communicating with us outside the center of Playcare, he does engage with us again upon our entry into the school. Before we delve deeper, he cautions us that communication won't be possible on this side of the dome, and warns us to beware of Miss Light before the audio abruptly ends. It's evident that someone else is present, and their intentions are not in our favor. Upon encountering Miss Light, we inadvertently find ourselves in the playhouse, presumably still within the side of the dome inaccessible to Ollie. As soon as we escape from the miniature smiling critters and confront the larger version of Dog Day, Ollie immediately inquires about our well-being, asking if we're unharmed, with no injuries or missing body parts. This repetition raises suspicions of an imposter, especially as Ollie seems overly eager to express relief at our safety, almost as if he harbored ulterior motives for our visit. The plot thickens as we enter the counselor's office, where Ollie's communication abruptly ceases, despite Catnap's presence and subsequent attack. Strangely, Ollie neglects to warn us about Catnap's presence, despite earlier discussions about Catnap's predatory nature and propensity for lurking in the shadows. The lack of communication from Ollie within the office raises questions, only to be answered when we receive a call from Ollie immediately after leaving the offices, without any acknowledgement of the preceding events. Upon realizing a disturbance, Ollie swiftly notifies us, indicating that something has gone wrong. He immediately provides instructions, urging us to retrieve the cord from the counselor's office and connect it to the sockets beneath the statue, stressing the urgency of reaching full power. Though Ollie may not have been aware of our encounter with catnap, it's concerning that he stops mentioning catnap shortly after becoming more present. It's crucial to remember Ollie's words after we connect the cord, as they hold significance for what comes next. Ollie directs us to transport the large battery to the gas production zone to facilitate our escape, underscoring its importance. However, as we approach the battery socket, catnap unexpectedly appears, seemingly anticipating our arrival, prompting us to flee to safety via an elevator. In the room, we must defend ourselves against catnap for 5 minutes as he attempts to breach our defenses. After finally defeating him with the overcharged green hand from the GrabPack, the prototype descends through the hatch in the ceiling. Catnap starts praying to him, seemingly spared from our attack. Suddenly, the prototype swiftly dispatches catnap by thrusting his hand into him, killing him instantly, and then ascends back into the hatch with his lifeless body. Despite these dramatic events, which include diverting the red smoke and encountering Poppy, we hear nothing from Ollie. I suspect this silence was intentional. What's perplexing is that after leaving Home Sweet Home, we are attacked by Kissy Missy, and Poppy reassures us, stating, "I'm glad that Ollie could help you get this far. He's the reason we found you at all." This implies that Poppy had some form of interaction with Ollie. However, after Poppy shows us, during the hour of joy, Poppy mentions that everyone was killed. Wouldn't it be logical for her to mention if Allie had survived the hour of joy at some point in the game? However, since she doesn't, it suggests that Allie wasn't involved in the hour of joy and gained access to Playtime Co. through another means. He couldn't have entered Playtime Co. after the events of the hour of joy, considering his extensive knowledge. Even if he had been involved, he wouldn't still be a child. Additionally, Poppy's statement about everyone being killed leaves us with the conclusion that Allie is not who he claims to be. I suspect that Allie is not human, and considering all the evidence, it's plausible that he is the prototype in disguise, posing as a child somewhere in Playcare, equipped with keys and knowledge of the dome. Just imagine, if Allie were truly a child, how could he have? How did he manage to position himself in a secure location where he can monitor us while we're in the main area of Playcare, send us large batteries and keys whenever needed, and possess knowledge about certain characters even before they were introduced as toys? Despite all these mysteries surrounding him, he somehow maintains a relationship with Poppy, who never discloses any information about Allie. This makes me question whether Poppy is truly on our side. So it's time to wrap up this video, but before we wrap up, let's take another look at a theory about whether Ollie is actually prototype. What do you think about this theory? Share your thoughts in the comments below. I love reading your opinions. If you enjoyed this video and are interested in more content about games and theories, don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss the next video. Your support means a lot to me. Thanks for watching and see you soon. Hi friends, my name is Dylan Theory, and today in this video we are going to talk about a theory regarding who attacked Kissy Missy after all. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and give us some likes. Now, let's get started. After overcoming catnap with the prototype's assistance and rerouting the red smoke to the left tube in the gas production zone, we rendezvous with Poppy. She praises our achievements and offers insight into Playtime Co.'s truth by presenting a tape titled "The Hour of Joy." Following its viewing, Kissy Missy guides us down to the bottom of the room via an elevator. Poppy assures Kissy Missy that we'll return the lift once we reach the bottom. However, during the descent, we hear Kissy Missy's distressed cries, with Poppy attempting to reach her urgently. Upon arrival, we sense an ominous presence, and Kissy Missy's desperate situation unfolds before us. With a sense of urgency, we rush to aid her, uncertain of the attacker's identity and the repercussions it may have on our journey ahead. The chapter concludes with a cliffhanger, leaving us pondering the motives behind the attack and its implications for our future endeavors. Let's explore various theories regarding the events surrounding Kissy Missy's attack. starting with the least probable scenarios. When Kissy Missy is initially assaulted, pay attention to the noise she makes. Does it ring a bell? Interestingly, it's reminiscent of the sound Huggy Wuggy makes during his jump scares. But why would Kissy Missy emit such a sound? Some speculate that Huggy Wuggy himself made the initial noise. However, if both were present in the room, it would create inconsistencies. Furthermore, despite Kissy Missy's screams, only her footsteps are audible. There are no additional footsteps to suggest Huggy Wuggy's involvement. Additionally, how could Huggy Wuggy have arrived at the scene and attacked Kissy Missy so swiftly? While his hunger drove his attack on us in the first chapter, it doesn't explain his actions here. This raises doubts about Huggy Wuggy's role and the true nature of the events surrounding Kissy Missy's distressing encounter. Let's consider the potential involvement of Huggy Wuggy in the assault on Kissy Missy. Initially depicted as compliant, Huggy Wuggy's behavior underwent a transformation after exposure to the prototype's influence, resulting in aggression, particularly when provoked. However, the mystery deepens when we ponder how Huggy Wuggy could have survived his presumed demise in Chapter 1. The scenario hints that he may have landed in a body of water, although it seems improbable that the water encountered in Chapter 3 could have cushioned his fall, given its distance from Poppy's walkway. Consequently, if Huggy Wuggy is not the perpetrator, who else could have targeted Kissy Missy? While many point fingers at the prototype, the lack of concrete evidence casts doubt on this theory. Typically, the prototype intervenes with toys exhibiting heretic tendencies, which does not align with Kissy Missy's behavior. Thus, the true identity of Kissy Missy's attacker remains obscured, leaving us with a perplexing mystery. Exploring the likelihood of the prototype's involvement in the assault on Kissy Missy is crucial. We must consider the prototype's potential interest in ensuring Huggy Wuggy remains obedient. Any deviation from this obedience could jeopardize the prototype's concealed objectives. However, there's also a possibility that the prototype had a hand in the attack itself. To grasp this, let's revisit the playhouse scene where Dog Day recounts his situation. In his dialogue, he mentions the prototype's sway over the toys, which can be interpreted in two ways. Firstly, the prototype might possess the ability to manipulate minds, leading individuals astray. Alternatively, the prototype might exert significant control over other toys, making defiance challenging. If we entertain the former interpretation, it's plausible that the prototype attempted to influence Kissy Missy, triggering her erratic actions. This could explain the absence of additional sounds during the attack. It's conceivable that Kissy Missy's distress stems mainly from psychological manipulation, laying the groundwork for potential revelations in subsequent chapters. The method used to transform Huggy Wuggy from obedient to ruthless may also be applied to restore Kissy Missy to her former good nature. However, at present, we lack concrete evidence to draw conclusions. We are unable to witness Kissy Missy's situation firsthand, and our only source of information is auditory. Throughout the game, there has been no indication that Kissy Missy has any adversaries, and the only character associated with her is Huggy Wuggy, who supposedly perished in Chapter 1. With no apparent motives for anyone to attack Kissy Missy, it's plausible that someone else orchestrated the assault. This leads me back to the prototype, who, instead of directly carrying out the attack, may have dispatched another character to do so, potentially a character yet to be introduced. Speculation abounds not only about the events of the next chapter, but also about who will serve as its primary antagonist. Given that Chapter 4 is unlikely to be the final installment, there is much more to uncover. Given that the prototype cannot be the ultimate adversary, we must consider the possibility that the assailant who targeted Kissy Missy may emerge as the primary antagonist in Chapter 4. While this notion may seem speculative, our current evidence is limited. Furthermore, following the altercation with Kissy Missy upon departing Home Sweet Home, Poppy alerts us on the elevator that catnap was the last obstacle placed before us by the prototype. Poppy's declaration raises questions about how she obtained this information. However, delving deeper into this matter belongs to another theory. Notably, Kissy Missy's attack prompts scrutiny about its circumstances. Observation reveals that Kissy Missy was attacked near the lever controlling the lift, positioned with the room's entrance directly behind her. This proximity suggests that the assailant could have targeted her from the room's entrance. The assailant who attacked Kissy Missy likely infiltrated the room stealthily before launching the assault. This casts doubt on Huggy Wuggy being the primary culprit, as his character doesn't suggest a stealthy approach. Similarly, Catnap, known for his stealthiness, has been eliminated as a suspect due to his recent demise. While Boxy Boo is considered stealthy, there are numerous reasons why he may not be the attacker. However, one group of characters that could potentially fit the bill is the mini smiling critters. In a previous segment, I mentioned Kissy Missy's frantic movements and screams, which could suggest an attempt to control her. But what if these actions were caused by the mini smiling critters attaching themselves to her, disorienting her in the process? Judging from Kissy Missy's distressing screams, it appears she's not fighting back but rather calling for help. However, it's challenging to attribute the attack to any specific character without concrete evidence. Since we only hear Kissy Missy's presence in the room, our deduction must rely on identifying the perpetrator based on their malevolent intentions. Now, we're compelled to speculate on how this event alters the narrative trajectory and what lies ahead in the subsequent chapter. Firstly, we must unravel Poppy's motive for leading us deeper into Playtime Company. She has repeatedly emphasized the imperative of eliminating the prototype, suggesting that our descent into this new area serves this purpose. However, with Kissy Missy's attack, the storyline may pivot towards prioritizing her rescue and uncovering the identity of her assailant. Subsequently, we may return to our original objective of confronting the prototype, although there's a looming concern that time constraints may impede our success. So that's all I have for you for today. Don't forget to share your theories in the comments. I look forward to reading them. Also, don't forget to put likes, subscribe to the channel, and watch my other videos. I wish everyone the best of luck and see you soon. Hello, friends. Dylan Theory is here, and today we're going to discuss a theory about the mysterious protagonist of Poppy Playtime. Let's figure out who he really is, what his true intentions are, and if he is the real hero of the story. In this video, I'll share my hunches and speculations about who our main character really is, and what role he plays in this fascinating game. Ready to explore the theory? Then let's get started. Indeed, the parallels between our character and the enigmatic purple guy from the FNAF universe invite deeper speculation into the moral complexities and narrative dynamics of Poppy Playtime. Similar to the purple guy's ambiguous role in the FNAF series, our character's identity remains shrouded in mystery, leaving players to ponder their true intentions and past actions. The absence of a name, physical description, or defined appearance invites players to project themselves into the narrative, blurring the lines between player and protagonist. Moreover, the haunting phrases "happy and fun, why was it done?" and "guilt haunts you" serve as haunting echoes of the purple guy's own internal struggles and moral quandaries. These phrases hint at a deeper emotional resonance, suggesting that our character may be grappling with the consequences of their past actions and struggling to reconcile their guilt with their present circumstances. The notion of high-level clearance and insider knowledge of Playtime Co.'s experiments adds a layer of intrigue to our character's backstory, hinting at a deeper involvement in the shadowy machinations of the company. Could our character's past sins be connected to the sinister experiments conducted on innocent children, echoing the nefarious deeds of the purple guy in the FNAF universe? As players continue to unravel the mysteries of Poppy Playtime, the parallels between our character and the purple guy serve as a compelling narrative thread, drawing players deeper into the dark and twisted world of the game. With each revelation and discovery, the true nature of our character's identity and their ultimate role in the story remains tantalizingly just out of reach, fueling speculation and intrigue. The phrase, "happy and fun, why was it done?" echoes endlessly in our psyche, an indelible record of our actions serving as an unrelenting reminder of the unforgivable sins we've committed. As players, we're burdened with the weight of our transgressions, unlikely to ever receive absolution. On the other hand, the phrase "guilt haunts you" speaks volumes about our inner turmoil. It suggests that we're tormented by a profound sense of wrongdoing, unable to escape the shadow of our past misdeeds. Returning to the factory presents an opportunity for redemption, a chance to right the wrongs we've inflicted. However, it quickly becomes apparent that such redemption is elusive, an unattainable goal. This notion is reinforced by the presence of the phrase behind glass, inaccessible to us. It's situated in what appears to be our former office, a place teeming with memories of our past deeds. Its distant observation serves as a poignant symbol of our inability to alter the course of history, condemned to be haunted by our past actions indefinitely. Regrettably, there's no respite for the player, as relentless messages reinforce our unwelcome presence. An example of this is evident in Dog Day's cardboard cutout, bluntly stating, "You can't be here, you can't stay." This underscores our deep connection to the experiments and suffering inflicted upon the children. Further evidence supporting this notion emerges after our encounter with Catnap in the counselor's office. Subsequently, we experience a hallucination where we find ourselves among the children in various locations like Home Sweet Home, the school, the playhouse, and the counselor's office. This suggests our close involvement with the orphans, understanding their play dynamics, learning processes, and everyday lives. But what was our precise role? Many have speculated that we held a position of authority, possibly as the head of production. In Chapter 2, we catch a glimpse of the upper tunnels adorned with the names of key personnel such as Elliot Lewig. The fifth slide, however, features deteriorating letters that are barely discernible. Speculation arises that this slide bears our name, given its connection to the production room directly above the tunnels. Typically, the head of production oversees and orchestrates all manufacturing processes. Therefore, if we hold this position, we likely played a significant role in toy development, possibly even contributing to the Bigger Bodies initiative. Additionally, our proficiency with the GrabPack suggests familiarity with production tasks, possibly involving product assembly. However, this theory is at odds with the purported location of our office in Chapter 3. If we indeed hold the position of head of production, why would our office be situated in the orphanage? It's more plausible that the head's office would be located elsewhere within the main facility. Consequently, if our office is indeed in Home Sweet Home, several alternative job roles could explain our presence there. Among the potential roles, one that particularly stands out is that of a researcher. Throughout the orphanage, observatory rooms equipped with one-way glass windows overlook the children's quarters. It's plausible that our character was tasked with gathering data on the orphans and their behaviors. However, this only provides us with fragments of the overall picture. Another theory posits that the main character is Rich, an employee at Playtime known for his temperamental nature. Rich appears sporadically throughout the game, seemingly disconnected from the main storyline of Poppy Playtime. His presence spans across every chapter, with Chapter 3 hinting at a potential promotion for him. Due to Rich's recurring appearances, speculation has arisen that he may indeed be the player. While Rich's precise role within the company remains undisclosed, Chapter 3 mentions his involvement in shipping. However, Rich's interactions and dialogue lack substantial insight into his character, particularly in the VHS tape where he converses with his superior. He merely states, don't you think these kids deserve some... Rich expresses frustration over the restrictions placed on interactions with the orphans, lamenting the lack of genuine sunlight and normalcy. He questions why the children are kept so isolated and speculates that this ignorance extends to the experimentation occurring there. There is no indication that Rich had any involvement with the children, leaving a gap in our understanding. Returning to Home Sweet Home, a significant discovery is made during the hallucination, a radio emitting backward speech. Once reversed, the message becomes clear, accusing the listener of failing to attend a significant event 10 years prior. This revelation initially appears to be the player's guilt resurfacing over missing the hour of joy and the subsequent demise of colleagues. However, there is more to uncover. There's an unsettling quality to the dialogue that warrants closer examination. Let's break it down. "You come in here and you kill and murder" seems to point to past actions, possibly describing the player's involvement in or authorization of experiments at Playtime. However, the use of present tense suggests a current implication, that upon returning to the factory, the player resumes these actions, defeating Huggy and Mommy and wreaking havoc on Playtime Company. The phrase, "your presence was demanded 10 years ago," shifts to past tense, indicating a missed opportunity or obligation from a decade prior. This implies a lingering sense of failure or guilt for not fulfilling a significant role during the Hour of Joy event, adding layers to the player's emotional journey. The colleagues we once worked alongside have met their demise, while we've managed to survive. However, a discrepancy arises here. At this juncture, the player isn't expected to have knowledge of the Hour of Joy. Throughout the game, Poppy hints at revealing the truth, unveiling the Hour of Joy VHS as a significant revelation, suggesting our prior ignorance of the event. Yet, if we encountered this tape in Home Sweet Home before Poppy disclosed it, how did we possess this knowledge? Perhaps we were already implicated. Moving forward, the subsequent lines, "You were supposed to be here, why weren't you here?" could stem from our own guilt. We were meant to perish alongside our colleagues on that fateful day, given our employment status. What sets us apart? Why were we spared while others met their end? However, there's potential for deeper interpretation. When coupled with the ensuing sentence, "You missed the event, you missed the meeting, you missed the party." Each term carries distinct connotations. The term event might allude to the Hour of Joy, yet what about the meeting? What conceivable gathering could we have missed? This suggests some premeditated action in which we were involved on the same day as the Hour of Joy. If this tape represents a Playtime company colleague addressing us, the meeting could pertain to any work-related affair. However, what if it signifies participation in the Hour of Joy? This notion may seem outlandish, but consider the phrase, "You missed the party." It's peculiar, as why would the Hour of Joy be likened to a celebration when it was, in reality, quite the opposite? Only the toys who orchestrated the massacre would dub it a party. So, what if we were in fact aiding the prototype in executing the Hour of Joy? If you find this notion too far-fetched, that employees aligned with the prototype, reconsider. Let's recall the restricted relocation VHS tape uploaded by Mob on YouTube nearly a year before Chapter 3's release. This tape depicted a Playtime company staff member discussing a meeting with someone off-screen, hinting at a clandestine involvement with the prototype. The video was filmed concurrently with the Hour of Joy and served as an instructional guide for relocating a larger figure, specifically Kissy Missy, to various sections of the facility. The video delineated several steps, first retrieving the body, then securely fastening the giant, followed by loading it onto the train. However, it's at step 4 where anomalies arise. The original instructions, which reference the Bigger Body's handbook, were overwritten with the command, "Loosen the straps binding the giant." Steps 6 and 7 instruct to release the straps. Considering the antiquated nature of VHS tapes and their workings, it's unclear how they function precisely. However, the critical point to note is that the footage on a tape can be replaced with new content. Given the classified status of this tape, designated solely for high-clearance Playtime employees, it's unlikely to have fallen into unauthorized hands. It's conceivable that a Playtime company employee deliberately tampered with the tape, or even provided it to a toy for manipulation. But why would employees engage in such behavior? It's worth considering the possibility that these employees may not have been fully cognizant of the ramifications of their actions. They might have been unwittingly manipulated into aiding the prototype, serving merely as instruments to kickstart the Hour of Joy. It's plausible that they harbored deep remorse for their involvement in the disturbing experiments and sought redemption by assisting the toys. Could we too have been caught in this predicament? Whether occupying the role of head of production or researcher in the orphanage, we were aware of the atrocities unfolding and felt compelled to intervene in some manner. Perhaps we learned of certain employees deviating from protocol and collaborating with the prototype, potentially with noble intentions. The prototype could have enticed employees by portraying the Hour of Joy as a joyous event symbolizing liberation for all. However, upon discovering the true nature of the events slated for August 8, 1995, we experienced a change of heart, reneging on any agreements we had previously made. The guilt we harbor may stem not only from the harm inflicted on the children, but also from our complicity in a scheme that endangered countless innocent lives. On that fateful day, the employees faced imminent peril, yet we stood by and allowed it to unfold. It's noteworthy that the message received in Chapter 1 pertains to the staff's presence, not the children's, prompting our desire to rectify our mistakes. The weight of guilt became overwhelming, driving us to seek redemption. During our hallucination, Poppy's words echoed hauntingly. "This isn't a place you come back from," implying the perilous nature of our mission. Despite the danger, we pressed forward, fully aware of the potential consequences. But what role did we play during the hour of joy? Perhaps we were present but failed to fulfill our duties. In the hallucination within the counselor's office, we find ourselves standing in the same room where we first encountered Huggy Wuggy in Chapter 1, now empty save for the ominous red glow. Suddenly, the metallic hand of the prototype looms ominously, accompanied by the blare of emergency alarms and distant voices. Amidst the cacophony of screams, one wonders if this is a flashback to the horrors of the hour of joy. While it's tempting to dismiss it as mere imagination, our previous gas-induced hallucinations have drawn from real experiences. It's plausible that this too could be a distorted memory. However, substantiating the player's involvement in the hour of joy remains challenging due to insufficient evidence. I hope you enjoyed this theory about the main character of Poppy Playtime. If you have any thoughts or ideas on this topic, feel free to share them in the comments below. Give it a like if you enjoyed the video, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel to stay up to date with all new theories and reviews. Thanks for watching, and see you soon. Hi friends, it's Dylan Theory again, and today we have a special topic prototype. We're going to understand what it looks like and what threats it brings with it. Before we get started, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on new and exciting discussions. In our journey through the world of Poppy Playtime, the enigmatic visage of the prototype remains obscured, with only its robotic arm visible to us. Yet, as we delve deeper into its actions and motivations, I've developed a speculative notion regarding its true appearance. However, before we embark on this exploration, it's imperative to contemplate the rationale behind concealing the prototype's form. In Chapter 2 of our adventure, we stumbled upon a clandestine tape nestled within Bay 9, a seemingly inconspicuous chamber serving as an exit point. Playing back the tape unveiled a poignant tale of tragedy involving the prototype, wherein it teetered on the brink of breaching containment. Ingeniously, it repurposed the components of a digital alarm clock to fashion a laser pointer, a device pivotal in its bid to momentarily disable the surveillance camera for a span of 28 seconds. Upon the camera's reactivation, the room appeared devoid of life, prompting the intervention of a curious scientist who ventured inside to ascertain the presence of the prototype. Miraculously, it eluded detection by cunningly concealing itself within the camera's blind spot. Seizing the fleeting opportunity, the prototype made a daring dash past the unsuspecting scientist, intent on seizing freedom through the open doorway. However, swift intervention from an astute colleague stationed outside promptly foiled its escape attempt by remotely sealing the door. Tragically, the inquisitive scientist within the room fell prey to the prototype's lethal machinations. This poignant incident not only underscores the inherent peril associated with this experimental endeavor, but also offers illuminating insights into our ongoing struggle with it. Notably, the prototype's remarkable ingenuity, showcased in the creation of the laser pointer, hints at the possibility of its application of intellect to various facets, including its very own form. Despite only glimpsing the prototype's arm, I'm inclined to speculate that it possesses an internal skeleton, facilitating its movement within the facility. Picture it akin to the animatronic endoskeletons featured in the Five Nights at Freddy's franchise. However, unlike those animatronics, the prototype seems incapable of executing its grand plan directly, relying on other toys to carry out its bidding. Across all 3 chapters, it's evident that not every toy aligns with the prototype's agenda. Yet, even those opposed to it can display aggression and murderous intent. Take Mommy Longlegs, for instance. It's apparent she harbors genuine fear towards the prototype. Her exclamation, "He'll make me part of him," when dragged into the grinder, suggests she comprehends the prototype's goal of self-enhancement. In a previous video, I mistakenly attributed the statement, "You'll make me part of him," to Mommy Longlegs. However, subsequent feedback corrected this error. Nonetheless, it underscores the idea that the prototype's ultimate plan involves assimilating others into itself. The appearance of the prototype has likely undergone a transformation following Mommy Longlegs' demise. However, it's unclear whether it salvaged any parts from Huggy Wuggy or even encountered him. Huggy Wuggy's fall into the depths of Playtime Company might have rendered parts of him unrecognizable upon impact. Yet, it's reasonable to assume that when the prototype is finally unveiled, traces of Mommy Longlegs will adorn its form. This prompts the question, What might the prototype extract from Mommy Longlegs? One might assume it would claim her elongated limbs, renowned for their strength and reach. In the Hour of Joy footage, Mommy Longlegs effortlessly ensnares multiple staff members with a single arm. However, intriguingly, the prototype appears to forego appropriating her limbs, choosing instead to claim her torso upon her demise at our hands. In the aftermath of Mommy Longlegs' demise, it appears that the prototype has incorporated her torso into its right arm, while the other limbs fell victim to the grinder's operation, leaving them compromised. This suggests that the prototype may have retained one arm for its extended reach, while preserving its original appendage intact. This deduction is grounded in the tangible evidence we have regarding Mommy Longlegs' impact on the prototype's design. However, this raises questions about other deceased characters. There is a growing suspicion that Catnap's anatomy will play a pivotal role in enhancing the prototype's capabilities. With access to Catnap's entire physiology, including his respiratory system responsible for emitting the red smoke, the prototype could assimilate this unique trait into its arsenal. Additionally, Catnap's intellectual capacity may also be harnessed, augmenting the prototype's cognitive abilities. While other anatomical features like limbs could theoretically be extracted from Catnap, there is a sense that there may be deeper layers to this narrative. Considering the possibility of the prototype assimilating parts from another character, one might wonder if any of the smiling critters could be viable candidates. Realistically, this seems improbable. Our understanding of their abilities post-Bigger B's initiative is limited, and their swift demise suggests that the prototype may not perceive them as valuable assets. Furthermore, given Piggy's role in consuming the smiling critters, their availability for assimilation appears highly unlikely. However, an intriguing prospect emerges with Dog Day, who endured the gruesome ordeal of having his legs severed as punishment for advocating escape from Playcare and Playtime Company. Nonetheless, it seems unlikely that Dog Day's limbs would serve as additions to the prototype, as they were likely removed solely for the purpose of torment. Yet, the absence of his legs upon our encounter with Dog Day in the jail cell hints at the possibility of their preservation elsewhere, or their consumption by Catnap and the many smiling critters. As Chapter 3 draws to a close, we're jolted by the disturbing sounds of Kissy Missy's assault. If you're curious about my theories on the perpetrator, feel free to share your thoughts in the comments. It's essential to stay alert. Something is amiss. What's going on? No. If we entertain the possibility that the assailant was the prototype, a plausible scenario unfolds. Earlier, I discussed Huggy Wuggy's demise and his descent into the depths of Playtime Co., suggesting that his remains may have gone undiscovered. It's conceivable that Huggy Wuggy's demise wasn't part of the prototype's plan, prompting a desire to salvage something from him for reinforcement. Considering Kissy Missy's uncanny resemblance to Huggy Wuggy, albeit with different coloring and a more compassionate demeanor, extracting useful elements from her becomes a viable strategy. Specifically, the prototype may see value in Kissy Missy's mouth, equipped with numerous sharp, needle-like teeth, providing an effective means of defense or attack if needed. Alternatively, we might consider Miss the Light. However, upon closer examination, there are few qualities about her that the prototype would deem valuable. Even her weapon seems redundant, given that the prototype already possesses a lethal claw capable of dispatching other toys effortlessly. Furthermore, her weapon consists of nothing more than sharpened colored pencils attached to a random brain. Bunzo Bunny can also be ruled out. Firstly, he lacks any notable attributes, and secondly, he was dispatched by Mommy Longlegs. Following his demise, his body mysteriously vanished, likely consumed by another entity. With all factors considered, it's time to speculate on the appearance of the prototype post-Chapter 3. One crucial clue we have is Catnap's shrine. Before entering the playhouse, Catnap is depicted praying to a peculiar amalgamation of toys. Upon returning to the Playcare facility, we learn that Catnap constructed this shrine for the prototype. However, there's an intriguing aspect that requires further exploration. I initially believed that all the smiling critters had survived, as they had allied with Catnap and the prototype to avoid being destroyed. However, the situation has become more complex. Nevertheless, one thing remains clear. The prototype will probably integrate certain familiar aspects into its design as its plan progresses. This video concludes our discussion. Don't forget to share your opinion in the comments, I'd love to read them. Subscribe to the channel, put likes, and wish everyone good luck. See you soon. Hi friends, it's Dylan Theory with you, and today we have smiling critters on the agenda. Before we get started, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and put a like under this video. Now, let's get started. To uncover the fate of the remaining smiling critters, our initial focus lies on dissecting their cardboard cutout voice lines. Following this, we'll delve into an individual analysis of each member, scrutinizing their personalities to speculate on their potential demise. Let's commence with Bubba Bubba Fant. Renowned for his intellect among the smiling critters, Bubba Bubba assumes the role of the gang's brain, a trait evident from various instances, including his removal of Crafty Corn's painting to reveal a complex mathematical equation in the critter's introduction. His reputation as a genius draws from the factual prowess of elephants, known for their exceptional memory. Notably, his vocal expressions are comparatively subdued, barring moments of intense screaming. An intriguing observation about Bubba Bubba's voice lines is the peculiar blend of laughter and screams, adding a layer of complexity. I'm Bubba Bubba Fant. Hey, I remember you. An elephant always remembers. Want to know what I remember about you? This anomaly prompts consideration of plausible explanations for such behavior. Could be interpreted in multiple ways. When Bubba Fant utters, "Want to know what I remember about you," it could convey two distinct meanings. Firstly, it may simply denote his remarkable memory. Alternatively, it could imply recollection of our previous tenure here 10 years ago. Both interpretations hold validity, offering flexibility in understanding his statement. Now, the reason behind Bubba's laughter and his final voice line could be linked to the behavior exhibited by him and the other smiling critters towards the episode's conclusion. When the crew faced sleep deprivation and were greeted by catnap at the door, Bubba Fant was the first to seek assistance in inducing sleep. Despite pleas from everyone, once catnap released the red smoke, all, including Bubba Fant, were seen erupting into maniacal laughter. While it's uncertain if the red smoke in the show mirrors its real-life counterpart precisely, it appears to trigger symptoms of madness and addiction upon inhalation, alongside its sleep-inducing properties. That said, there's a possibility that Bubba's laughter in his final voice line is correlated with catnap, given his initial exposure to the red smoke, which may have induced laughter, providing catnap with an opportunity to harm him. Moving on to Kicking Chicken, he's recognized as the epitome of cool within the smiling critters, maintaining a composed image as depicted by his enjoyment of surfing. He exhibits a strong determination and resilience, refusing to yield even in challenging circumstances. However, like his counterparts, Kicking Chicken is susceptible to fear, evident not only in the show's portrayal, but also in his voice lines. Initially expressing a desire to venture outside and socialize, he later confesses his apprehension about being outdoors alone, seeking companionship to alleviate his fear. Despite attempting to uphold his image, he ultimately admits his trepidation, volunteering to lead the way, only to succumb to fear shortly after, as evidenced by his subsequent screams. Hey, I'm Chicken Chicken. Want to go outside and hang out? It's looking pretty rad outside. I've never been outside. Before, would you accompany me? I'm feeling scared here. Follow my lead. I'll take the first step outside. But what implications does this hold? It's unlikely he met his demise due to exposure to the sun or some external factor. So why was he targeted immediately after attempting to explore the outdoors? Considering Playcare's overall structure, it appears to function as a controlled environment striving to mimic the outside world, a notion that becomes unsettling upon reflection. Kicking Chicken likely grasped this understanding of Playcare's nature and harbored curiosity about the genuine external world. However, I don't believe his fear stemmed from the external environment itself. During a conversation with Poppy, she warns us about the prototype's lethal response to escape attempts, emphasizing the need to eliminate it first. The prototype knows we're coming. If you try to escape, he'll terminate you before you even reach the front door. Kicking Chicken was probably cognizant of the potential consequences awaiting him if he dared to step beyond the confines of the building. Once he made the attempt, he was likely met with demise, either at the hands of catnap or the prototype. Now, we turn our attention to Piggy Piggy, a proponent of healthy eating habits who advocates for a balanced diet among her companions. Despite this, she harbors a clandestine affection for cheeseburgers and PB&J sandwiches. Her dialogue often revolves around her adoration for food, gradually transitioning to mention meals comprised of her fellow smiling critters. Surprisingly, even after consuming her companions, she admits to still feeling hungry and extends an offer of friendship to us. "Hi there, I'm Piggy. Let's eat. Roast beef, delicious grilled chicken, down the hat, seared elephant, yum, slayed unicorn. I feel hungry. Hey, what do you say you and I be friends?" With this revelation, it becomes evident that Piggy devoured all of her friends and yet remained unsatiated. This poses two significant quandaries. How does this align with the circumstances surrounding the demise of the other characters, and what led to her own demise subsequent to consuming everyone? It becomes apparent that Piggy must have been the last to perish, especially considering the absence of screams or indications of her demise in any of her voice lines. In the final voice line, Hopscotch is heard screaming "jump," with the audio abruptly cutting out. Just before this, she advises not to focus on one's feet, emphasizing that it doesn't matter. Her dialogue initiates a countdown for attempting to hop to the moon together. Despite repeated attempts, she insists that they won't cease until they reach the moon. However, during the last try, she's heard screaming while saying "jump," suggesting a tragic outcome. It appears Hopscotch became deluded into believing she could leap to the moon, and in her final attempt, she likely lost awareness of her surroundings, leading to a fatal fall from a high platform. Moving on to Bobby Bear Hug, she exudes warmth and appreciation, reminiscent of Huggy Wuggy's design. Bobby deeply cares for her friends and surroundings, perhaps excessively so. However, her caring nature can sometimes render her naive, especially when she extends her compassion to those who may not reciprocate it or have her best interests at heart. She's also depicted as having a fear of abandonment, expressing concern to the player about being left behind and mentioning that she's been lost for a long time. Her dialogue conveys deep affection, stating her love and dependency on the player. Bobby's fear of abandonment is particularly poignant, considering her nurturing nature towards others. It's heartbreaking to see her, who cares deeply for everyone, end up feeling abandoned. The question arises, why and how was Bobby left behind? It's plausible that her clingy tendencies made others reluctant to remain close to her, leading to her abandonment. Alternatively, she may have been one of the last survivors and couldn't locate anyone else, explaining her prolonged sense of being lost. When she asks, "You won't leave me this time, will you?" she's likely referring to the player leaving Playtime Company, expressing her desperate plea not to be abandoned again. Returning to Bobby Bear Hug, she expresses her reluctance to see us leave again, indicating her deep-seated fear of abandonment. Subsequently, left with no one to love, converse with, or provide sustenance, Bobby gradually succumbed to starvation. It's plausible she was never found, as Piggy never mentioned consuming bear in any of her voice lines. Now on to Crafty Corn, a creative unicorn with a passion for art, who shares its significance with the crew members. Crafty Corn also exhibits peacemaking qualities, finding beauty in everything around her. In the cartoon's intro, she showcases her talent as a painter by creating an exact replica of Bobby Bear Hug. In her voice lines, Crafty Corn appears to be working on another painting, but realizes she's run out of red paint. Upon being informed of this, she grows suspicious, accusing the player of withholding more red from her and demands it, followed by screams. After obtaining the red paint, she declares the painting much improved. "Hi, I'm Crafty Corn. Can you help me with my painting? Thanks. Now can you give me some red? More red, please." It appears that Crafty Corn's dialogue about the missing red paint is directed towards a member of the Smiling Critters, implying that she may be referring to their blood. The subsequent scream suggests that she might have killed one of them to obtain the red paint she needed for her painting. However, the circumstances of her own demise are less clear. Crafty Corn could have perished either from starvation or as a result of retaliation from the other Smiling Critters after witnessing her violent behavior. Unfortunately, her voice lines do not provide a definitive explanation for her death. Lastly, we have Dog Day, the trusted leader of the Smiling Critters, known for his optimistic outlook and encouraging demeanor. In his voice lines, Dog Day instructs the player to leave and questions why they're still present. He emphasizes that they cannot stay, followed by an extended scream longer than those of the other members who died. Dog Day's dialogue is particularly disturbing because it hints at his fate. When he urges the player to go fetch, he's likely expressing his desire for them to leave Playtime Company. His subsequent remarks about not being able to stay and questioning their presence indirectly reveal his dissent towards Playtime Co.'s ideology, particularly that of the prototype. Consequently, Dog Day may have been tortured by Catnap and the prototype for encouraging others to escape, a fate often reserved for heretics. This could explain the prolonged screams heard. The moment when Dog Day's legs are severed and hit the ground intensifies the horror of his death, particularly since his verbalizations on the cardboard cutout were essentially identical to what he was conveying in person. Here comes the end of my video about the smiling critters. I'd love to hear what you think of them in the comments. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and give it a like to stay up to date with all my new reviews. That was Dylan Theory, and see you soon.